Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Humankind with me, the Buko Man himself, Buko Juice, the Thirst Quencher, and today we are going to go make a new Humankind start. The last few games that I've had have been, well, for lack of a better term, horrible. I think I haven't quite figured out the strategy. I remember when I was playing the beta, I was doing better, but I think that was because over time, I memorized the map. I knew where all the resources were, and I knew exactly where to settle. This time around, with the full release of the game, I think I've been exploring too much without being aggressive, and that is a little bit problematic because the AI of this particular 4X game is also very aggressive in their own right. Even if they are peaceful, they are going to just plop down outposts and outposts and outposts, and you're going to run out of land if you are indecisive. So I think that's one error that I have been making. Another error that I have been making is that, unlike, say, I have been used to Civ 6, right? And even when the AI of a particular civilization is aggressive, you kind of know what pushes their buttons. And for me, in this particular game, we don't quite know what pushes their buttons yet. And I think even if they are like peaceful, there are really easy ways to piss off the AI, and then they will go to war with you before you're ready, and you could get your behind handed to you, so to speak. Now, it is actually an unconventional stream time for me. It is almost 6 a.m. here. I took a late night shower, and my hair is still wet, so I can't quite go to bed yet. Don't you worry, folks. Though I work on European time zones in terms of my work shift, so it's okay for me to be late to bed. But I do need to be going to bed soon, so at most this will be 1.5 hours of streaming. So, without further ado, let's try making a new game. As you can see, I got to turn 144 with a Khmer. Let's move to full overlay, shall we? There. As you can see, I got to turn 144 with the Khmer. And I think that's another error that I have been making. I have been forcing that Southeast Asian thalassocracy mindset onto my playstyle. And sometimes the random spawn just doesn't work for it. And it takes a while before you can get your land units to be able to traverse deep waters. So until you're able to do that, you're only really limited to the side islands, which don't really provide a lot in terms of resources. So I'm not sure how to do that yet. So we're going to backtrack a little. So instead, we are going to be just trying to win for once. I still kind of want to roleplay the empire that we're building. If it ends up that we want to go to tradition instead of science and progress, even though that is not necessarily the easy or the optimal way of gaining your science stars, we're gonna go for it. We'll see how our humankind role plays. All right. So I changed my avatar a little bit from the last time. As you can see, I'm trying to make him look like me. Give him a man bun. Let's look at my profile. Um, how do you do that? I think you can rotate him. There you go. I gave him a man bun. I don't think I can tie my hair in that kind of bun just yet. I'm still lacking some hair length. But everything else, I feel like, works out well for my character. Costume color. Let's go for a more no, a more black kind of color. Then let's go to the main menu, save and close. There we go. So I also kind of went with that traditional Asian mustache because that's the best growth that I could get. I don't really get facial hair over here. Most of them is coming out of my upper lip and here on my lower lip and here also. So I guess this is an idealized version of myself. As you can see, they have a Khmer what's the word? He still has a Khmer costume. We'll change that fairly soon because we're going to click on a new game. Let's change our color, shall we? How do you change the color? Black. Let's go black today. Yeah. Then Walino Sari, Sir Joka, Victor. Victor's very aggressive. As well as Burke Black. So let's probably change. No, let's get out. Let's get away from Burke Black. Boudica. Oh, Boudica works. Agamemnon. Uh, Boudica. Ancestor. Zerator. Oh, we'll keep Zerator, but we'll move. And I guess we can keep Agamemnon. I know Agamemnon is kind of like an aggro historical figure, so maybe that's not the best idea. Let's also change Gamer Zack's icon. Why is Gamer Zack a gun? Let's turn him into the boar or the Spartan. Well, Gamer Zack's tendencies are loyal, militarist, and introvert. So Spartan it is. Right. Although, are they loyal? I'm not sure if the Spartans are loyal. It doesn't matter. Then let's move Agamemnon. Keep Boudica. I kind of like Boudica. So we have Mogyu Ying, Spiffing Brit, Gamer Zack, Zerator. So our streamers are Spiffing Brit, Gamer Zack, and Zerator. I think Zerator is a streamer. I'm not sure. I kind of got the batch Twitch drop when I got the streamers. I got Gamer Zack first because I follow him, and then I went and got the others. Walino Sari sounds like she is from Southeast Asia. I have no idea if she's a historical figure. We can look her up at some point. We're going to play with a huge map so that we have a lot of people. Pace is still normal. I kind of like that pace. Difficulty is still nation. Given what's been happening, I don't think we can reliably go empire yet because they've been kicking our ass. So world shape is random, pretty okay. Continent shape is average. I guess that works out. You know what? It's interesting to make a chaotic continent shape. Internal seas, highly deformed continent shapes, and a great deal of randomness in altitudes. Distances between continents as well as their sizes can vary greatly. Where was average? Internal seas are possible in some higher cliffs. Yeah, no, let's go average for now. Climate is random. Let's go ahead with that. Land percentage is 40%. The real Earth is 30% land and 70% water. 40% gives us some more room to run about. Number of continents is also random. We'll turn on New World so that there is an uninhabited continent somewhere. So everything else we're not gonna mess around with. So alright, this is trial number 3 of Humankind, starting now. Let's see. Hopefully we do better than our first 2 runs. Let me get some liquids also while we're waiting. Hookah juice, because we're on brand.
Our universe contains infinite stories, most of which are about rocks and ice at sub-zero temperatures in a vacuum. Rather boring. However, on a small damp rock, there is a story that bears a second look. It's your story. But the first 4 billion years or so mostly concern amino acids. Not much of a page turner. But then, over time, the amino acids bond together, and things start to get interesting and a bit drier. A certain subspecies of hominid discovers that you can do more with a sharp rock than annoy your little brother. Tools and weapons weapons are invented. The hominids begin to cooperate. Fire becomes a servant rather than an unpredictable force of nature. They learn to tan the skins of animals for clothing. They learn ways to record and probably exaggerate their adventures. Eventually, these tribes learn to build shelters and immediately hold the first barbecue parties. This is the dawn of humankind. Struggle and cooperation have been rewarded. The Neolithic era draws to a close. The whole world beckons. This tribe has come far, but the rest of their story is your story. You are the one who will build them into a great civilization. How far will you push humankind? The race begins. A new world, a new history, untold possibilities. There is so much to see, to do, to learn, or, depending on one's preferences, to destroy.
All right. So, if this is your first time watching Humankind, first of all, what what's been happening? you should you should check out this game right now. It's kind of awesome. But also, it is a 4x game that is played on a hex map. So if I click this, you will see the hex map over here. And the idea is that you're going to building your own civilization, your own cities, your own cultures, and then you're going to progress towards becoming the most famous human nation on Earth, right? So in order to do that, you need to gain as much fame as possible. At the start of the game, you have zero fame, as you can see here. And then you can gain fame by earning stars. Stars are worth several fame points. For example, this growth star, which we can earn if we grow our population to 5, will earn us 100 fame. Although this fame score goes down the more people get the same star. So that's kind of a race to the top, so to speak. We start out as a Neolithic tribe, literally a hunting party, and nothing else. So if you kill or sorry, if you get this unit killed, then even at the start you could lose the game. So let's see what we have. You can zoom out and see the entire map, or you can zoom in as close as possible to see all the little details of this map. I think this is being recorded at 720p because of my internet limitations, but I am seeing it in 1080p and 60 frames per second. I think it's 90 on my end actually. Although you will be seeing it at 60. So you can see actually the birds that are flying about. I'm going to try to look at the VOD later on and see if you do see the birds and stuff. All right, I prefer to play with no hex grid, and from time to time I open up the FIMS, the foods industry. Industry is to help you produce stuff. Food is to help you grow stuff. M is money. That's the yellow one over there, which lets you buy stuff. And finally, S is science, FIMS. Science is the blue tile, which we currently do not have. So one of the interesting things about 4X turn-based strategy games is that you can actually take your leisure and check out the map, make frequent pauses, and everything will wait for you, unless you're, of course, playing multiplayer. So, okay, our primary goal is to create outposts, territories that we claimed that will eventually become the cities that we have. Currently, I don't quite see any place that could be a city. And before we can do that anyway, we need influence, this purple star, a fifth resource, so to speak. Influence is representative of your ability to change the world, as an abstraction of your ability to change the world. So that's in addition to your FIMS, to your food industry, money, and science. Now, this tribe has an action economy of 4, which means it can move 4 tiles in one turn. On the other hand, some tiles are worth 2 tiles. They're difficult terrain, so to speak, if you're familiar with 5th edition rules of Dungeons and Dragons. So that works out for us. In order to get influence in the Neolithic era, the easiest way is to um, hunt animals. So we're going to hunt animals right now. We're going to be avoiding this thick forest because if I remember correctly, the base movement cost of a forest is 2, whereas our most tiles have a base movement cost of 1. So we're going to try to avoid stepping on the forest if we can, because we want to move as much as we can. Now look at that. There's a sanctuary. It's a rich, diverse habitat with plenty to sack. This is breeding ground for peaceful wildlife who range the surrounding area. Now, if I leave it alone, it will start spawning wild animals, and it will keep spawning wild animals until I ransack it. So that's the sanctuary. Now, it's inside the forest tile, and it's also on the river tile. Another thing that limits us when it comes to the river tile is that once we enter, we end our turn. It exhausts our movement. So, we can open up with a ransack. That's actually automatically going to give us um 20 food. Yeah, there you go. It says 20 food right there. So, let's pick that. It ends our turn, like I mentioned, because we entered a river tile. But we will get 20 food from this, which is enough food to grow our population by 1. It's pretty nice, right? So let's do that. Let's end our first turn. There you go. Now there are 2 of us. There's also an animal walking around there. We can hunt that so that we can get our first influence. So we can start plopping down outposts for our territories, right? So first off, I'm going to transfer this out so that we can start hunting with this particular group. Can you reach them? Uh, Not quite, but close enough. Oh, it actually triggered. I thought it was going to be delayed by a turn. So let's choose manual battle. My side is stronger, but it's not by much. If you can see the bar, it's almost in the middle. Hunt at Kurha. Eliminate all enemies. So we're going to try to hunt this deer. If I choose instant resolution, I'm going to leave everything to the vagaries of fate, and I don't want to do that. So let's just choose a manual battle for now. So, in this game, one thing that I've learned is that you really want to do the Obi-Wan Kenobi. You find the high ground and you stay there. Well, except if you're fighting ranged, because the ranged units have more things to do that don't necessarily require them being at a higher elevation than you. So here we go. We are at a higher elevation. If we charge, our 10 strength will just be matched with the 8 strength of the deer. Yes, the deer can kill human units. It has happened. So instead, I will just end the round, which will put us in a defensive position. I could also click here for defend. Hold position this round. The unit will not move or attack, but we will benefit from a combat strength bonus if the deer attacks in turn. And the deer chooses to attack. So we had 2 sources of bonuses there. The first one is the high ground, which gave us a bonus, and then we were also defending, which I think is a +1. Meanwhile, how much bonus does the high ground give? It's +4. And the deer is already damaged, so the deer in turn has a -1 to their strength. So there you go. And then it's going to attack again, because deer are not really the best AI. Although, actually, that's one limitation of this game so far. I said earlier that the AI can be aggressive, but they're also not very tactical. I feel like they could be better. They will put their ranged units at a disadvantage if it means they can attack that turns, things like that. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when we encounter like human units later on. So, by killing a deer, we got 5 food and 5 influence. So we can now start using that influence then to start erecting outposts, like so. We can claim the territory. Usually, you'd like to claim territory in an area that has several anomalies. An anomaly is represented by the fan symbol on the map. In this case, for example, there is a prairie, which is volcano Earth. It has more resources than normal over here. So I think the step that we should take next is to create an outpost here so that we can exploit all adjacent tiles, which is going to be all this food here, this money over here, and this gold over here. It's not the best. It's not going to be a very productive city because we don't have a lot of industry, but we're going to have a lot of food, so it's going to grow a lot. So it's going to be our growing city or growing outpost. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. Anyway, we fought, so this unit is done for this turn. But we do have 2 units already because we ransacked at turn 1. This is actually turning out, well, it's only turn 2 out of 300, so we don't know what's going to happen yet. But I think we're doing well. If we move here, this is going to cost us 2 movement points because now we're following the river path. Now that we've entered a river tile, we can follow the river path and move as normal, even though we are in a forest tile that usually takes 2 movement speed. So this, I think, will only cost us 2 movement. This is a food curiosity
Sustenance, security, and pleasure.
that gave us
Wonderful
another
stuff,
15 food.
this
Pretty good.
simple food.
Yeah, that's correct. Our assumption was correct. We got another 2 movement speed. And I think um, we need to find another beast so we can get more influence. Oh, what do you know? World deed accomplished. You accomplished the following deed. Be the first to discover Kawa Ijen. That gave us 50 fame. So we are now at 50 fame. So far, so good. I think this is Kawa Ijen. What benefits does it provide us? Folklore abounds. Oh, wait. This is Kawa Ijen, not that. That's just a lake. Folklore abounds regarding the violent eruptions and blue fire, but it is the disfiguring rocks at Kawa Ijen's heart that most frighten. So Kawa Ijen gave us 30 science. That's pretty nice. Science is nice. And then I think if we hover over it, it gives us some bonuses. So if we control this area, this will give us plus 5 influence and plus 10 stability and plus 10 money. This might actually be a better place to erect our first settlement. And as you can see, Kawa Agent itself provides us with some food, but we can't build on it. We can only build adjacent to it. So if we create here, this will provide us with production, production, production. Not bad. Maybe we can start with this one. Ooh, a science star. Hmm. Hmm. I think the first few turns really just has to be aggressive land grab. That's what I learned from the earlier playthroughs that I had that failed miserably. You need to be grabbing land as soon as possible. So we will attempt to set up an outpost there. Plus 6 plus 4. If I go there, it's plus 7 plus 8, but we'll need to work to get to Kawa Ejin, right? 7 5. 7 5. 7 5. And then a lot of food. Like, let me think about this. Because this particular area is giving us some interesting bits. We could, we don't have to spawn there, but it's a nice spawn area, as you can see. That was what I was originally thinking about, right? A very food rich area. So we can focus on the adjacent sites, which will be more production focused, right? So I think first off, we can move here and make a decision next turn. And the turn, here we are. A new turn. Ooh, a mammoth. A mammoth is a bit too large. And besides, I am not seeing any way to benefit from mammoth. Whew. This guy, we can get them to move there. Yeah, we'll get them to get that science curiosity. That'll take a while. Now, I believe a mammoth has a strength of 13, so that puts us at a disadvantage if we fight them, right? So, in the absence of anything better, we will need advantageous terrain, which we currently do not have. So instead, we'll try to move around him. Hey, look, a food star. 2, 3, 4. The deer we can fight, I think. 2, 3, 4. Manual battle. There's two of us now because we just grew from the food curiosity. Now, the deer has the advantage of height. So that's not very cool for us. So we'll try to move back. And deployment. We'll try to do this. Then we'll lure the deer towards us. We'll keep luring the deer towards us. Ah, went to the low ground, which means we have a bonus. Pretty nice, pretty nice. So we'll move here. We can finish him off. Let's use the damaged one. Alright, that gives us more food, and I think another 5 influence. Not bad. Let's go to turn 4. Ooh, this mammoth really wants... Okay, so we're claiming this territory for sure. Right? Excuse me. And then there's two of us now here, so I'm feeling a bit more confident that we can take on that mammoth. Although that's a river tile, and that kind of cancels some height advantage. So we'll have to force him to also use the river tile. Okay, so far so good. Let's try.
This way. Onwards.
Go there and round. So far so good. So what happened there was that we used the height advantage, but the river also provides us with a penalty, as you can see, -3 from crossing river, -1 from damage. We'll try to retreat, try to goad him into the river tile. If he attacks this one, we'll have height advantage. If he attacks this one, then not as much of an advantage, but I think this is the right call. Oh, oh, oh. All right. So now let's do this. And now it's six versus eight. We could lose this unit. So instead, I'm going to retreat this unit upward and then go them upwards as well. He's going to have a penalty from the river and from the height advantage, which might kill the mammoth. Yes! So, a mammoth is a much better hunt than a deer. It gives us 20 food and 20 influence. Pretty good, right? And since that's 20 food, our population grew. Going back to our era stars for the Neolithic era, you can see that the growth star means you want to grow to five population total. We have now a total of four. The one that's going to get the science curiosity, as well as the three population unit that we currently have. Another one is the knowledge star, which we're currently not really moving forward with. Although it could be a good choice also, because in my experience, if you get to the knowledge star of 10, then you will also unlock a Neolithic legacy trait, which is pretty nice. And then another one is a hunter star, which means I need to hunt and kill five animals. So far, we've killed three, two deer and a mammoth. Now, we went into combat, so this thing is already locked to us. On the other hand, we can earn our first science star by grabbing this thing.
Just
One.
because a culture died out doesn't mean it wasn't worthy of study.
That was worth three science. It's pretty good, actually. Two, three, four. Because we want to establish an outpost here. So, end turn. We are now at turn 5. So, let's open our event tool first. We have an event tool here. Urgent affairs require your attention. You can't see that because my window is blocking the way. But let's see. In the distance, a thin cord of smoke cuts up into clear blue skies. Fire. Calling a few tribesmen, you run closer, the smell of cindered bark and burning pine growing stronger with each footfall. You spy dancing flames, and suddenly find yourselves on the edge of a settlement on fire. Many of the structures are ablaze, but even with the smoke and flames, you can see these abodes are marvels of craftsmanship. You are about to direct your men to put out the fires with loose soil when you see short, shadowed figures running away. Youths. They could become part of your tribe if you give chase now, but that would mean losing these secrets of construction. What is your choice? Okay, if we chase them, we'll integrate them into our population, and that will actually give us our era star. If we extinguish, once we get out of the Neolithic era, we can start researching the city defense at a lower rate. Huh. I think we are going to gain the population either way, so it would be better to extinguish. All right. So let's start building up our shit. First things first. This is a nice spot if we ever want to become a maritime city. And it does have sage, which is a luxury good. We'll want that as soon as possible. So I will claim a territory here, which will provide 17 food and 4 production. Not very, not very productive. Ooh, unless we do it here. Hmm, I'm not sure. I think I like it here better. 17.4, 13.8. 17.4 it is. So here, we're starting to build our outpost. It will take 7 turns, which is not ideal. The reason why it takes 7 turns is because it doesn't have a lot of industry in it. Meanwhile, we can leave this area. Although we probably wouldn't want to venture too far. We can leave this area and then we can explore other places as well. Alright, then let's go to our other units. Right, triple units. Let us... That's a river. That's gonna stop our movement right there. So this one I will transfer here, and that eliminates their movement already. It exhausts them because that's a river tile. This one I will instruct you to be the one
Right.
building our settlement. Ooh, a lake. Lake as food production. I kind of want to grab Kawa Ijin, which will give us influence. But we have to be careful because if we build here, that doesn't give us a lot of room to wiggle. So instead, I think we can claim territory. This one is worth 20 influence already. It's the growth is exponential if you notice. This one is 7-5, 6-4, 7-8. 7-8 is our best one so far, but we'll have to work to get Iwo Jima. Iwo, what those? I forgot. Those are good places also, but we are trying to look for a place that has good production. So 7-8 is our best bet right now. 10-9. That's even better. Although in this case, we'll have to work to get to the natural wonder. So 7-8 might be better for us. 9-7. Um, let's go 7-8 and then build makers quarters towards here. Build farmers quarters towards here, so that we can get both food and industry. So we'll do
Will
that.
do.
So they're also starting to build here. Note that this is by the border of the other territory that we claimed. So we cannot actually exploit this resource over here because this belongs to the other territory. So instead, we're exploiting these tiles, 5 tiles. And then once we start expanding our city towards this area, we can start exploiting that. No, not that one. We can start exploiting here. Ooh, that is a bit of an issue though. Anyway, this one's done. This one's done. This one can move and grab that food curiosity. Or not. Apparently it can't. Ugh. Oh well. Okay. I think that's pretty good for us. How many turns will this take? This will take 4 turns. So not as good as the other one, but still decent. 5, 5, 0. This one has 5. This one will start moving towards this area. It will be impeded by that river over there, but that's to be expected. Turn 6. So we have a new notification. Let's see what we have. Wonderful Yellowstone has been locked by another empire. Alright, it's another natural wonder. Let's close that one. Acknowledge. Okay, we are already in the river. Might as well. Growth Star. Alright. Now, sometimes it's in our best interest to not move immediately into the next era. Because right now we can start choosing our first culture. But before we do that, we can instead see if we can get the fourth and fifth Hunter Star and more knowledge stars. In order to do that, I think we can combo this one. No, we can't because it's a river. Let's get the science because we're woefully under scienced right now. We're now halfway through the science star. We left the river, as you can see, so now we can no longer. Oh, wait, we still can. Ooh. Let's do that then. Manual battle. Let's make them cross the river and make them attack me from the low ground. So that will be very problematic for the deer. As you can see, that dealt more than half damage to them. What are those bonuses? High ground and I think river is -3 from their end. So yeah. So science is still woefully inadequate for us. Um, let's transfer you
Yes.
here. See what you can find here. A sanctuary. Okay. So there's a sanctuary and a food curiosity over there. We can use these guys to claim the food curiosity, and then these guys to ransack the sanctuary. Meanwhile, these other guys can start moving out. Let's move there first. See what we have. And look, another food curiosity. Nuts. You can go exploring in that river. Oh, that's a lot of forests. Could be a production heavy outpost if we ever get the. How much do we need to for a new outpost? We need 60 influence. That's not easy to get. So, like I said, we're not going to choose an era yet because we only have 1 star. Ideally, we want 2 or 3 stars before we jump. Remind me later. Besides, I don't think anyone has gotten any culture yet. So we still have good dibs. There are 10 cultures per era. And once you pick it, no other culture can pick the same. So we'll keep that for now. End the turn. And here we go. Turn number 7. Look, a mammoth. Another mammoth. Ooh. We do need to defeat 1 unit in order to advance. The mammoth is a problematic aspect for us because look at that. It can kill us. So, let's see. We're going to delay Sanctuary. Instead, we're going to use this unit to ransack. Oh, wait, maybe they can do both. Let's see if they can do both. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Yeah, they can do both. 1, 2, 3.
What's over there?
Oh, a Science Star though. If we go here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can get that Science Star, assuming no one else gets that, but there's someone there. You can see the dotted line is colored. That means someone has claimed that territory already. So instead, we'll just ransack with this guy. Why did we abandon the original idea of using this guy? Because we want to be together if we are going to be fighting a mammoth. And deployment. End the round. All right. 12 versus 10. Not the best, but you know. Let's move here. And then end the round. Excuse me. Ooh, ooh. Uh, so, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to move here. We can attack, but we are woefully underpowered. So instead, we'll get this guy to attack because of our height advantage.
For the tribe.
Kill the mammoth. Yeah. Nice, nice. That's another 20 influence stars. And a hunter's. Sorry, another 20 influence and a hunter star has been earned. So meanwhile, we are going to be exploring with this guy. We'll avoid the river tile for now.
Onwards.
Which turned out to be a good idea for us because there's a food curiosity there. Freshwater harvest. So our population is now 7. Who else hasn't moved? You.
Acknowledged.
Can we move there? Let's try.
Yes.
Ooh, a mammoth. We're not fighting the mammoth. We're just going to skip our turn
Nothing here.
and end the turn. Okay, let's see. Our ransack was successful. As you can see, it's still the case that no one has advanced because I think as long as everything is still available to us, that means others have not advanced yet. So that's good for us. It gives us more time to hopefully collect that science star. So I'm going to separate one of these guys and then move them here.
We move.
Get that science star. That's Pipe Kuhale. There's another one there. We'll try to get there. Ooh, there's 2. So we're going to get this guy to also move in that direction. Hopefully we can get both science stars before other players can get it. Right. For this one, we'll separate this guy. Um, hmm. You're blocking the way, dear. And you're in high ground. So I'm not going to bother with you. Instead, we'll move here. See what we can find. There was something there, wasn't there? So we can transfer this one here. Then move there. Yeah, there was a food star.
This way.
A food curiosity, rather. And then this last person can ransack. Yeah, why not? Alright. So, assuming we can get both of those stars, can we? 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably not. But if we can get both of those in 2 turns, then we can advance because we will have achieved all of our stars for this particular era. So let's see what we can get. Oh, oh. We're not yet done, apparently. We can keep moving.
Onwards.
Kind of want to avoid the river. Although this area is very thick with river. How many more movement speed do we have? Hmm. If we claim this area here, it's plus 8 plus 8. Not bad. This one is plus 7 plus 13. I kind of want that. Plus 5 plus 14. Plus 5 plus 11. Hmm. You know what? Let's do it. Let's found this outpost. We do have the influence. Might as well use it. Goea. So we now have 3 territories to our name. Goea, Kerha, and Kerkoan. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. You have 1 movement speed left. Let us move you here. And let us use you to ransack here.
Forward stride.
End the turn. We have a new notification. I assume someone already got a culture. All right, our ransack was successful. Two ransacks. One of our outposts gained a population. That is Kurha. Kurha is over here. All right, acknowledge. Ah, still no new cultures, huh? So we're still doing okay. That said, we do have an event here. Violent pursuits. The last winter was especially harsh. The ground hard, and the frost chilling to the bone. In the heart of the settlements, the tribe huddled close to share warmth through the closest days. But for some, it wasn't enough. Some needed to get their blood flowing, and they found a means through violent games, grappling, fighting, contests of strength and endurance. One contest, where opponents fight with hide-bound fists, hey, they invented boxing, has gained quite a following, to the point that the outpost's usual foraging missions are under threat. What is your say on this new pursuit? Okay, if we encourage it, we have +2 strength on our units. Pretty good. We can be bountiful, but we already have like good food if we forbid it. We already have good food on that particular outpost, so we don't need to. Oh, D&D Digest, hello. Oh, Dan, you're back with more Humankind. I thought I just missed that yesterday. Civ is probably my favorite game, so very excited for this one. How would you say this compares to Civ? You know, they play very differently. Like, sure, they are both 4X strategy games that are turn based, but the very concept of mixing and matching cultures as well as territories and districts being the central focus as opposed to civilization make getting you to make builders and then getting those builders to create cities and settlers to create cities and builders to create improvements. That's a very different feel. Like I like Civ 6 also, so I'm not saying that Humankind is better. I'm saying that it's a very different game, and I think they're both enjoyable for very different reasons. Even though on the surface they look like the same concept. I hope I answered your question, the digest. Also, I'm playing Humankind again because our first two playthroughs sucked. um, those were like abandoned games to be abandoned for now. So, okay, going back, we can either encourage, forbid, or codify. If we codify, we turn it into an actual sport. So, minus 25% on domestication research. We should allow these contests, but only at decreed times of the year. Could also forbid, which might be the best idea, but right now, the outpost where this is happening is actually a food outpost. So, we don't need more food. Encourage will drop the food a little bit, but it will increase the combat strength of our nomadic tribe. That has its own potential. Yeah, I'll probably try this out then. Yeah, go ahead. Try it out. I really encourage it. Apologies. I think it's only 720p right now on the stream. I was streaming last time at 1080p, but I was experiencing drop frames. Philippine internet couldn't take it. So instead, I decided to drop the frames just so it becomes a proper stream that we don't have to worry about so much. I'm just hoping the recording will take care of it all. And watching on mobile looks fine to me. All right. Okay then. So, the nice thing about streaming a 4X game is that I can actually take my time to read your comments and then respond to those comments because I'm not racing against time. Although I should be sleeping soon, I'm just playing until my hair dries. So maybe another 30 minutes and then I am going to adjourn. And now that the initial blitz hype is over, I can take a more measured approach to the playthrough. Which is probably why I feel like I'm doing a lot better this playthrough. We'll see. So, okay. I could codify it. Codifying it looks like the best idea. -5 food. We are a farming district, but not we're not that bountiful. So I kind of don't want to get that +2 combat strength. It doesn't really do much for us. So yeah, we will codify it. Confirm. Meanwhile, can you reach that? You can. Right. Go get it then. It might increase our population again. Yeah, it did. Let's get to the next one. So many. Okay, we're looking for science stars. Did anyone advance? Okay, people are starting to advance. The Nubians, the Mycenaeans, and the Harappans have been chosen. We have mountains, so that would be a good choice. Although, I remember saying earlier that we don't. One of the things that we are going to avoid is in the first two playthroughs we tried our darndest to make a Southeast Asian inspired humankind culture. Now we're just trying to win. That said, we are in a very good spot to take the Phoenicians so that we can open up with the Navy. So we might still want to take the Phoenicians anyway, and we'll see where that takes us. But we'll see first if we can complete the 10 science stars for this turn, because I kind of want to get to advance to the next era with 3 stars instead of 2, so that we have more fame. We currently have 90 fame, which places us at first place actually. Currently we have 90 fame. By the way, fame is the victory mechanic here. At the end of the game, there are several end conditions like destroying the world, or letting 300 turns pass, or finishing all the research of the contemporary era. There are several others. I can't quite list them off the top of my head right now. But if you complete one of those, the game ends. That doesn't mean you win. It means that we will now go to the fame scores. And so it's a race of fame. So era stars are one of the easiest ways to get fame. There's also deeds. I think we won one deed recently, which was we discovered a natural wonder. There you go. Wonderful Kawa Ijen went to us. We were the first to discover that natural wonder. All right, I believe that there are science stars here. Ugh. Although the deer blocked our path. Stupid deer. Okay, how are we gonna do this? We can use this to fight the deer, right?
For our young.
Yeah, let's fight the deer. And deployment. Ooh. Let's go defensive. Ha! The deer went to the low ground. Why did it do that? Because it's a dumb animal, that's why. Is this on normal difficulty? There are 7 difficulty levels. I remember that because the highest difficulty is humankind and the second highest difficulty is civilization. The middle difficulty I think is nation, which is what we are on. That is difficulty number 4 out of a possible 7 difficulties. After nation is empire, and then civilization, and then humankind. So yeah, even at normal difficulty though, the AI is super aggressive, and that's why our first few games just didn't quite work out for us. So we're gonna kill this deer. Ooh, ooh. That's more influence for us. But that ends this group's turn. So this group, on the other hand, can now move and get that science star. Hopefully, it's worth 3. No, it's only worth 2. So we're still looking for 1 science star. Is there any science nearby? I don't think there is. If we risk one more turn, okay, what does one more turn risk us? Someone might get the Phoenicians, our preferred culture, which is acceptable because we can still pivot to a different culture. Like, I think it's good to be that Tsao because there's quite a bit of mountain in our area. Oh, actually, there isn't. I I was imagining that. Look at that. That's, I mean, if we claim this territory, it will be mountainous, but that's already very close to purple over here. That said, we're guaranteed one more science star as long as this mammoth moves his ass next turn. So we'll see. We don't have to get that Sao. What else do we have? There's still the Assyrians, which is an expansionist civ. The Egyptians, which is an interesting option. We can just start building like mad. The Hittites, which is militarist, in case we want to, start fighting early. Olmecs, I think, is built on gaining influence. And of course, the Tsao, which is basically also influence based but has a lot of science with their Confucian schools. So I think we can afford one more turn. In the meantime, let's use this opportunity to see what else we can do. Um, this group can follow
We move.
that river. What's the benefit of taking down more mammoths? Gets us more food, which makes us more populous, and a good population is nice. It's nice to open up with a high population so that when we consolidate into our cities will be well crowded almost immediately. Ooh, there's an enemy there. So yeah, let's do it.
Fire be with us. We move.
And deployment. End the round. Ooh, it went to high ground. That was unexpected. Unexpected. I was totally thinking that it would. Huh. Jokes on us, I guess. 11 versus 13. No. Just go defensive. Ooh, ooh. Defense is easier to manage, but this time, now we can surround it.
Fire be with us.
Wow, that barely did anything.
Get them.
I think we're gonna lose to the mammoth, guys. The battle will continue next turn. Alright, so it's not a loss. Meanwhile, you can move here. Yeah, first place on nation. Not bad, right? And then you can ransack that for more food. You can go to the river so that you can travel through the river next turn. And same thing for this guy, I guess. So who else hasn't moved? I think I want to start moving back towards my outposts. We currently have 3 outposts: Koea, Kurha, and Kekwan. Kurha is still being built. Koea is 1 turn away, and Kekwan is done. It is already starting to make things. Okay, what else? A bear. Get that. Then go back here. You can combine so that you can fight. Instant resolve. Alright. We had a significant advantage, so I just decided to make an instant resolution. Alright. One more turn. Please move. I want that science. Curiosity. Oh my god, it did. There you go. Huh? Culture chosen. The nomadic tribe reached the ancient era with the Nubians, Mycenaeans, and Harappans. Okay. We're fine. We're fine. Can get that science star. Yes. Okay. That means it's a good idea to now choose our culture. And since we got all the stars, we that puts us solidly in first place. And now we can choose our culture. And I think the Phoenicians are still open. So here's what the Phoenicians do. They're a merchant. They're a merchant culture, which means that it will be in our best interest to be friendly to our neighbors so that we can trade with them and gain more fame that way. Then more details. They are trading pioneers. So per traders on city or outpost, we get even more money. This first one is called a legacy trait. It's called a legacy trait because it will be retained throughout the eras, regardless of how your empire evolves. So even if we take the Romans later, and then even if in the modern era we become the Japanese, we will always be trading pioneers. Now the emblematic district and emblematic unit will only be available to us during the era where we are the Phoenicians. So it's in our best interest to make as many havens as possible because after we stop being the Phoenicians, this is no longer available to us. All right, so far. So we'll adopt that. That changes our clothing. Cool post about rice, by the way. Ah, the tweets. I tweeted that some time ago. I think back in 2019 when I was deep into writing and reading about the islands of Sinauna. I was one of the researchers. If you don't know, just in case you don't know. So there was a lot of reading about culture, pre-colonial as well as colonial, and some post-colonial readings that all made it into this helping to design the islands of Sinauna. I'm not by any means any of the lead designers, but I think I did quite a good chunk of the research. So I'm very proud of how it turned out. So all right, let us now confirm the Phoenicians. That's cool, that's cool. Now the next question is which one will be our main city? Is it going to be here? Korea? Cannot be done while in the Neolithic era. Ah, alright, so I have to finish this turn. I think what I want to do now is return to my cities, continue this battle, try to kill the mammoth. Kill the mammoth. Come on. Ooh, it's still alive. We'll get this one to retreat because it looks like it's almost dead. So we'll retreat with that one. Then end the round. Ooh, ooh, yes! So since we're still Neolithic, it still gave us influence and food. Once we move to the ancient era, wild animals will just give us money instead of food because we now become farmers and stuff. All right. What's that? A food curiosity. Okay. A science curiosity. Try to get there. Science is always nice. I think that still gives us like actual science points, which is good. And then we start our journey back towards the. Which one are these? We'll start our journey back into our territories. So we'll move them here. We'll move them here. This guy. We'll move them there. And I think, given the prevalence of wild animals here, we'll combine these two forces first and then move them back together so that they are protected. Might as well get that food since it's right in front of us. And that increased our science. Can we reach the science? We can reach the science. All right. So far so good. We have a tribe's legacy. You stand at a crossroads. We unlocked this particular event because we were able to get all our science stars. For many moons, the tribe has trekked the wilderness, slowly, tortuously learning the secrets of this world, how the materials hidden in the deep places and in plain sight might be fashioned to the tribe's advantage, how the beasts and plants of the lands and seas can be most fruitfully harvested, and how myths and stories can glacially but inescapably give power over our greatest enemies, other tribes. Now you must decide in what domain the tribe will truly sharpen its knowledge for the ages to come. Will you be renowned as makers, farmers, or charmers? Makers will give us the legacy trait Wattle and Daub. That's plus one industry per population, which could be good for us because we have a lot of pop. There's a lot of runners for us, right? Plant lore is plus one food per pop, and storytellers is plus one science per pop. Now, so far, I have been leaning towards storytellers. Not only because it gives us science, which is generally not a resource that you focus on in the early eras. So it gives us an ability to focus on farmers and workers, and not on merchants, and still, not on merchants rather, not on scientists, and still get enough science to not lag behind. So that's pretty good. Also, from the roleplay perspective, I like the idea that my culture is a culture of storytellers. So we are going to go for storytellers, plus one science per person. It doesn't have to be a scientist, it just has to be a population unit. So we'll confirm that. Whew. Then we have one more movement here. I think we'll just get them to move. Wait, they're already in the territory, so I can actually already disband them, right? No, I can't. I made a mistake. And now, we are going to end this turn and we are going to enter the ancient era. I think there's a cinematic, so I'm just bracing myself to drink water and stuff while we're watching.
Ah, the challenges of a young civilization. It's hard keeping up with the neighbors when they have the wheel and you don't. Humankind learns quickly that everyone contributes. If you're terrified of wild animals, you can grow lentils or catch fish. Tribes settle towns. Towns develop markets, and markets begin the exchange of goods, services, and most important, rumors and hearsay. How appropriate to start with the market, now that you will be leading the original traveling salesman.
And just like that, we entered the ancient era and we already have one era star. That's how much population we have. Because I believe the agrarian stars are population based. Yeah, there you go. The first star was earned when we got I don't know, some value less than or equal to 15. So once you get to the ancient era, you will notice that earlier we only really needed one star to advance, although we collected three because we wanted to maximize our fame, right? Moving forward, you generally need 7 stars to advance to the next era. So we're going to be taking longer in this era. There's also a competitive spirit era star. It's a catch up mechanic. So this catch up category will passively grant you era stars until you unlock the next era. So if you're lagging behind, the competitive spirit will actually give you like bonus stars so you can progress at more or less the same pace as the highest. Well, not the same pace. You will still lag behind, but at least you're not gonna be cavemen while you're fighting machine guns, right? That's how that's how it works, I think. That's cool. A society of game masters. You're right. We are going to be a society of storytellers, and then we're going to be the first sailors as well, which I think synergizes well from a story perspective with being storytellers. Now we are a merchant culture, so we will want to specialize on merchant stars. Merchant stars, just we earn that by earning money. Now, why do we want this? Because it gives us more fame. Every other category will give us 100 fame, but if we earn a merchant star, it gives us 150 fame. So, so far so good, right? I think it all makes sense. How do I get out of this view? There you go. The heck? There's a mammoth in my city. So, okay. I can turn one of my territories into a city already. What's this? It's an enemy hunting party. We actually need to get home. Okay. We do have units. We'll move this unit here so that we can... Actually, we can challenge them already. Let's challenge them. Get out of my territory, whoever you are.
Bloody and smelly, aren't they? History may be changed by battles, but that doesn't mean they're enjoyable.
Okay. Hello, McCavity Kitty. McCavity Kitty, did I pronounce that correctly? Please let me know if otherwise. This game sounds fun. Are you keeping VODs of Humankind play on Twitch or YT? I'm streaming while doing homework, lol. Alright. Here's the thing. Twitch will delete my long vids after 2 weeks. I can upload on YouTube. I'm not uploading my first two trials because they were atrocious. We were still learning the game, so I made a lot of bad decisions. This time, I'm really taking my time with every turn. As you can see, I have been playing for about an hour, almost an hour, 30 minutes now, and I am just on turn 11. But also, I'm making use of the fact that it is a turn based game to talk to the chat whenever I can. I feel like it's a good practice, and it's the game to do it, right? Like if I'm playing StarCraft, I'm gonna be focused on StarCraft. I'm not gonna be focused on playing with you guys as spectators. And occasionally you could give me tips if you want. Currently, what I'm doing is we are trying to win because we haven't won a game of Humankind yet as of the release version. But also we're trying to make a humankind culture that is interesting enough to tell a story on. So far we are going to be a naval civ because we entered the Phoenicians, and we are a civilization of storytellers. So that combination is interesting for me. So whoever that was, he left. It didn't pink. Sorry, it didn't ping on my other cultures tab. So that implies to me that they were still a nomadic tribe. So not everyone has chosen a tribe as of this juncture. Why is there a deer on my outpost? Doesn't matter. I'm going to evolve it into a city. I think this should be a city, and then we're going to attach Kurha, and then we might also attach Kekwan, although Kekwan might also be its own city, because I think we can take up to 2 cities in the ancient era. So, all right, evolve your outpost into a city. We're not gonna see the animation because of the deer. Stupid deer. Oh, wait, he left. There you go. So we now have a city center here, a main plaza, which gives us bonus science, bonus influence, bonus industry, bonus money, and bonus food. And then, um, something that's different from civilization is that it will automatically exploit adjacent tiles. So if we turn on our hex, here we go. I'm not sure if you can note if you can see the hex. We're exploiting these tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not exploiting this one because they are part of this territory. But we can annex this outpost later once it is completed. It's currently one turn away from completion. Meanwhile, Biblos has a population of 0. Once our units get there, or at least enter this territory marked by here. Maybe we can move you here. Ooh, that takes some effort. So let's move these. Once they enter our territory, we can disband them, which means that they will add to the population. Because with zero population, we are just relying on the exploitations to build stuff. So, buildings are going to be industry based, that orange icon over there. The more of those we make, the faster the city can build stuff. So, that's just like civilization. Macavity Kitty? Yup. Diving through strategies during play is like teaching us your playstyle too. Well, yeah. Guess that applies, right? So right now, before we choose what we build, I think we should choose our science first. Let's open up our science tab. Technology. Alright. We are the Phoenicians, which means we will want a market, which is over here. But also, we would want to start sailing, which is over here. Sailing is going to take 45 turns right now, but that's because we don't have dedicated scientists. Remember, though, that we took the storyteller legacy trait, which means once we start adding population, they will contribute to our science. So that's neat, right? So, okay. I think what we're going to do is sailing first because we want to be able to create our haven, because this is an emblematic district which is only available to us for us to create while we are the Phoenicians. So we'll go with fishing, which requires carpentry, which then would lead to sailing. So we'll click that. Then we'll end here. So now at least we know that we're making carpentry, which means that we will eventually we will eventually have access to the lumber yard, which will exploit more industry on a forest tile. Currently, this entire city is surrounded by forest, so that's pretty good for us. It's a good first tech to have. That's what I'm saying. Um, let's clear this mammoth. Might as well. Manual battle. Like I said earlier, the best way to play Humankind is to OB1 the whole thing. Make use of the high ground whenever we can, because that provides like a +4 bonus. Very cool. We'll play defensively for now. Ooh. Okay. We'll move here. We'll move here. We will... Ooh. If we move here, the small problem is that this is a river tile, which provides a penalty. So we can move here anyway, because the low ground is a higher penalty to us. Or rather, a high bonus for the mammoth. So we don't want to give him that opportunity. But at least, this increases to 18 strength, because now we have +4 from rear attack. So we're flanking. So there's also a lot of like lessons from D&D here.
No mercy. Let's fight.
And I think you're also flanking? Yeah, you're also flanking. So the mammoth is dead. But now, since we are now in the ancient era, instead of giving us food and influence, the mammoth just gives us money. 20 money. Not bad. What else do we need? We can also introduce ourselves to a new empire.
From my people and from myself, heartfelt greetings. Let us see if we can build a better world.
Right, this avatar is Gamer Zach. Some streamers had custom avatars made during the beta. Gamer Zach is one of them. He's actually the reason why I learned of Humankind to begin with, because I follow his Twitch stream and his YouTube. and he has a penchant for strategy games. And he also happens to be Malaysian, and I'm really trying to look for more Southeast Asian content creators. So let's introduce ourselves. Might as well. There might be value in not introducing ourselves immediately, but as a trading civilization, I think it's better to establish diplomatic relations as soon as possible.
Greetings. I'm called hot-blooded, short-tempered, passionate. All the highest compliments. As long as we are honest and fair, we can do mighty things.
Welcome. Let us speak honestly with each other.
I tried to make my avatar as close to what I think I look like, especially when my hair is bunched up in a man bun. It's not doing that right now because I was drying my hair to begin with. But he kind of looks a bit too menacing, doesn't he? It's the eyebrows, I think. But I think I have the same facial hair over here. Anyway, surprise war! No, they're the Mycenaeans. War is not a thing we can do with the Mycenaeans. Okay, they are loyal. They value righteousness and fidelity. They will never betray their words. Okay, so they will never, well, never say never, but they will tend to not declare surprise war against us. But they also happen to be militarist and introvert. So let's see. Let us propose a trade deal.
So, tell me, shall we become closer?
It is mediocre and I'm being generous, but we can live with it.
Fine, gamer Zach. All right.
Perfect. Days like this, I'm glad to be alive.
So we are now able to trade luxuries with them. We don't have luxuries though, or neither do they. So it's just a token gesture for now. It's good though because that means we can stay on their good side. Ah, let's look at that again. There are other treaties. I can force the other treaties by using influence, but I'm also hesitant to spend my influence on such trivial matters. Instead, I will just wait for the requisite 5 turns. There's a number there, 5 turns, before I can make another free treaty proposal. So that's that. So, my outposts are also done. This outpost, for example, is complete, and it can. It currently has 0 population. It's going to gain 1 population in 3 turns. I can instead disband, especially these injured ones. I can disband this unit. Pow. So instead, Kekwan also already has 1 out of 4 possible population. And given that it's just an outpost, the population will automatically be assigned to food. They're automatically going to be farmers. As opposed to a city can have farmers, workers, merchants, and scientists. Um, Generally, it's a good idea to focus on city growth at the start. This one is not yet done. Why aren't you done? Something's wrong here. Anyway, create your religion. Pick the base of your people's beliefs. So I can be a polytheist or I could be a shamanist. Shamanism will give us +1 faith per population. We have a lot of people, so shamanism seems to be the good idea here, right? Polytheism and shamanism. Let's found shamanism to start our religion. And now we have a religion setting here. Immediately, I want to change Phoenician shamanism, which doesn't really tell us anything, to animism. Ancestor worship. Ancestors, hear my plea. What's a good name? Daddy. 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 There you go. The daddy religion. That just might stick until later, because there's an opportunity to rename that into a real world religion later, like Buddhism or Hinduism, and then our religious holy site can then take on the visual characteristics of that religion. But for now, we'll keep Daddy. So that's our religion, the Daddy religion. Although I guess it remembers the first thing that we wrote, so it's still animism. Maybe next turn it will become Daddy. What else do we need? We need to look at our building. We can start building our first religious site, but that's not smart. So okay, I think we can open up with pottery workshop. 4 turns. Yeah, we can open up with that. The pottery workshop will give us the ability to gain influence on main plaza every turn. Okay, we can attach Kekuan, but I am tempted to also make Kekuan its own city. But that takes several turns because while our first city was free, the second city is going to cost 160 influence. On the other hand, I could attach it to Biblos for only 30 influence, which means that it will act as part of our main city. We don't have to make that decision now. We can just move back for the moment. And there. I remember you. We can ransack Pike Kohale. But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna be friendly neighbors because we're gonna be merchants. Anything else? Let us move you over. Oh, although you're already in the territory. Nah, let's move you for now. Because we're not going to assimilate all of our units. Some of them will be our initial standing army until we have something more substantial like a swordsman. The scouts, they used to be like the tribe, right? Now they're scouts. The scouts can be useful. And when they're in the territory, they can also heal. So that's what we will do. Enter.
It is not just a bunch of buildings. It is warmth, protection, and, praise the gods, a bit of privacy.
So now all of our 3 districts are done. When we start our next playthrough, we are going to... Wait, let's move these. When we start our next playthrough, we are going to focus on building this up into a proper city. Attaching them to each other. And then once we attach them to each other, we will start working towards better science. You know what? Maybe we can finish this turn. Yeah, we can finish this turn. And then we will adjourn. So first things first. We need to get to the city, man. I think we can disband both of these. Disband. Disband. So that adds population to us. Note, however, automatically I'm already seeing some issues. We're not producing enough food to grow our population. Instead, we're losing food. Right? Which means it will be in our best interest to attach Kerha, our farming outpost. It's producing a lot of food for us. Right? So that we can keep growing. So we'll do that. Attach. So what happened? First things first, if you noticed earlier, we were not exploiting this tile because it was part of the outpost and not the city. But now that we combined the outpost into the city, it has started exploiting that because it's adjacent to a city center. a main plaza. All right, and also now there is three population, 3 out of 12. What happened there? Because there was a single population on Kurha that is now adding to Biblos. And since the farmers' output here is now being added to the main city, we are now producing enough food, 13 food to be exact, to start growing. So that's nice, right? We can't attach the second one yet because it costs us 80 influence. And also, being aggressive with the attachments will cause our stability to drop. Stability, if you're playing Civ, think about stability as amenities or happiness. The more you build, the more you attach territories, the harder it is to govern, and therefore stability drops. Generally, you'd want stability to be around 40 to 60 to be decent. Otherwise, they'll start rebelling and you'll have lots of problems. We don't really want that. Now, also, note that our technology research has dropped significantly, although it can be better because of our population. So we'll want to start absorbing more pops. Let's see. This one, I'll want you to go here. That's already the city border, so that you can disband yourselves and we can have 4 population. Nice, right? We only now have 4 excess food, so it's no longer as good. But we have 4 population working, 2 farmers and 2 workers. And since they're all storytellers, they're also contributing to our science. And now our carpentry will only take 4 turns. 12 turns for fishing, 12 turns for sailing. Still not the best because we'd want to get to sailing as much as possible. As early as possible, rather. So what we can do is add 1 pop to Kek 1, maybe, and then the rest will be our standing army. So 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, let's not add a pop. I think having a standing army of 8 units is pretty formidable, even though they are just scouts. Because we're still in that era where scouts are creepy to other civs. So I'll move you closer to our outpost because this guy has been hanging out on our area. That's not cool. Alright, continue your movement. Continue your movement, I said. There you go. And there we have it. That's the end of turn 12, which is where we will adjourn because we are now moving towards 1 hour and 40 minutes. When will I keep playing this? I think I will keep it irregular. Whenever I can squeeze out some time. But also, I'm going to be uploading the VOD on YouTube. Don't worry. So you can watch it in sequence there. And hopefully this doesn't turn out to be horrible. A horrible playthrough. I have good feelings about this though. Because our first neighbor is Gamer Zach. As an AI, they tend to be a very friendly AI. Who's this one? I don't know yet. Oh, we can actually introduce ourselves already to the eagle guy.
1,000 welcomes. I am the leader of a great people. I hope you are one who keeps their word.
Okay, so he's Zerator. What can I say about Zerator? Benevolent. They value the happiness of their people and their freedom. So we might clash with them if their people start adopting our religion. Sometimes benevolent AIs don't like that. Impulsive. No matter the cost, deeds follow words. So They might make snap decisions sometimes, and they're open. They are eager to learn from others and embrace diversity, which works out for us because we are going. I want to move towards a civic of collectivism. In humankind, there are four axes of ideologies. If you are coming from Civ, this is the analog to civics society. So there's the collectivism versus individualism axis. There is the homeland versus worldly axis. There's the liberty versus authority axis. And finally, there's the tradition versus progress axis. I think I am going to be working towards a worldly, collectivist, liberty, and tradition. I think that's where I'm leading towards, which means that I will be making decisions, role play decisions, based on moving towards those. Currently, everyone's in the middle. Now, the problem there is sometimes there's going to be like choices that just make more sense. Like in general, I see that progress choices for events tend to be like they appeal to my sensibilities better. So we are going to be choosing sometimes tradition out of roleplay for something that we believe the society we are creating would like, as opposed to something that we would choose as players, right? So that's that. And then our religion, everyone's converting to daddy in 5 turns, converting to daddy in 5 turns, converting to daddy in 3 turns. And then finally, we have our science. We're going to want to start absorbing more people into our populace. Although this one, since it is an outpost at the moment, we can let them be. It'll grow on its own. As you can see, it's growing on its own. And I think that's that. We're going to end this for now. We'll see whenever I play again. And then I will be uploading the VOD on YouTube. And we're currently rank 1 in fame. So I think we are doing well. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you whenever. But tomorrow I will have Shadowrun 6th edition, which is also one of the playthroughs that we have on this channel. That will be at 1 p.m. Philippine time or 1 a.m. Eastern. All right. Thank you for coming. See you tomorrow.